This CMAC Sports broadcast is brought to you by the following sponsors. Thank you for your support.
From Sunnyside Stadium in Southeast Fresno, North Yosemite League football is on the air here on CMAC. Tonight's matchup pits the defending NYL champions, the Sunnyside High School Wildcats, against the Madera South Stallions. Hello again, everybody. I'm Dan Taylor, joined tonight by the former Bulldog, Denver Broncos, and New Orleans Saints running back Paris Gaines. And Paris, a contrast in programs. Madera South looking for win number one.
That's right.
And we've got Sunnyside looking for their championship.
That's right. I mean, a Sunnyside team that's coming in at 2-1, Dan. Their whole theme tonight is just to stay focused and finish, Dan.
And Sunnyside, a very young, or I should say Madera South, a young team. They have just kicked it off. Madera South receiving the football. Sunnyside pointing that perhaps there was a fumble, but no, they don't come away with the ball. It is Madera South's football, and it's near midfield where they're going to start this game off.
Great field position. Excellent field position here.
Madera South, a very young team.
That's right.
Very few seniors on this team, and it's a teaching kind of a system going on now with head coach Matt Johnson.
Definitely. He talked about their youth during our pregame, but we had an opportunity to talk to the coach. He said he's proud of their young men. They're going to keep fighting, but only 12 seniors on a team, and only 12. Junior heavy.
Well, it appears Sunnyside has come up with that football, and they are going to start this game with the football at the Madera South 48-yard line. Tanner Wilson, number 22, the very prolific passer, the lone player in the backfield. He is the quarterback. Quick out. That goes to Barnes. And Barnes works his way to about the 43-yard line.
And there you go, Dan. You see this prolific offense automatically empty. Okay, that's 5 wides. They go with the tunnel screen right there. The Barnes, I like to see the young man just catch the ball and get vertical right away.
So it makes it second down and about 5. Give goes to the lone back. No, Wilson keeps it. He's got the first down, trying to get to the outside. He's got a block, and he may well have a touchdown. Indeed, he is in. He has just gone 43 yards for a touchdown, but we see a penalty flag, and it could well be coming back.
Definitely, Dan. When you see a player get to the edge that quickly, automatically signals may have been a hold.
And indeed, that is the signal down on the field, a hold against Sunnyside. And that's one of the things, when a quarterback sometimes moves the pocket or gets running,
right.
That's one of the negative things that can happen.
Definitely on the edges, there's always a hold. I had a coach that said, if you're not cheating, you're not trying out there. There's going to be a hold on every play, especially anything out to the outside, Dan.
So the cause to cheer is now drowned out, and the ball comes back. And is placed at the 38-yard line. So it is a first down. Can't tell what that call was, if it was something against Madera South as well. Rolling is Wilson. He's got a receiver, and he hits his man. That's Barnes. And Barnes is down to about the 14-yard line.
We talked about it. Dan, moving Wilson out of the pocket, right? Playing to his strengths. There he hits the crossing route. That looked a little too easy, Dan, for me.
Well, in talking to Matt Johnson before this game, one of the things we asked is the key getting pressure on Wilson?
Right.
And he said absolutely not, because he can get out of the pocket and make even bigger things happen. Ball on the ground, penalty flag. Illegal motion. And they will march it back 5 yards. It remains first down for Sunnyside. Nose of the football on the Madera South 20-yard line. No score, just about a minute and a half into action here at Sunnyside Stadium. Glad you're with us here on CMAC. In Wilson, in Pacheco in motion. Nothing doing with that play. Might have even been a loss of a yard or two.
Definitely just trying to, again, attack on that tunnel screen, taking advantage on the boundary side of the field. Quick pass, played well by Madera South.
Second down, 17 to go for Sunnyside. Little toss going to Barnes, trying to cut back, slips, goes down at about the 13-yard line.
There we go. You see that motion by the receiver, Barnes. Again, this is the third touch for Barnes in this game. We've yet to see C.J. Jones touch the football early, Dan. You think a guy 6'2", 180 pounds, you want to get him going early.
Absolutely.
We've yet to see him get the football. But if they're going to take a shot, the 6'2" receiver is an option right here on the quick fade.
Rolling to his left, tough angle to throw on, into the back corner of the end zone, and he overthrows his intended receiver. That's going to bring up a third down.
And that's what I saw from Wilson on film, Dan. I had an opportunity to watch the young man's game film. They want to get him out of the pocket, but you see throws like that, slightly overthrows. That's pitch and catch right there. That's not a difficult throw for a young man who's one of the best quarterbacks in the Central Valley. He's got to make that pass.
Brings up third down and 8 now for Sunnyside. And again, Wilson, the lone person in the backfield, looking to throw. Now rolling to his left. He's got running room, but he's going to throw. Caught in the back of the end zone. Is he in bounds? Yes, he is. And that is a touchdown. So the Sunnyside Wildcats on the board first. Tyron Pree going up at the back of the end zone to make that grab. And the Wildcats out to a quick 6-0 lead on Madera South.
And Dan, I don't know if that's how Coach Wilson drew it up, but it was effective. And here we go with the swinging gate.
They like to go for 2. Wilson's got room. Quick toss, back corner, and he converts. Sanjay Burton, the receiver, in that corner of the end zone, and the 2-point conversion is good.
Quick start, Dan. We talk about Wilson's ability to, his improvisation, his ability to extend plays, and there he finds his receiver in the back of the end zone.
So Sunnyside with their first possession, strikes for 8 points, and they're on the board with a quick lead now. As Tanner Wilson very effectively moves them downfield. Didn't see the running game at all.
Not at all.
And that may be the most impressive part of their offense, even though they are extremely prolific through the air.
That's right. I had an opportunity to talk to Zeb White, their wide receivers coach, and he looked me right in the eye and said, we're about to air it out tonight. So as we see early, 4 quick pass plays, Dan, no run plays there, 7-0 Wildcats.
Sunnyside coming into this game with a 2 wins and 1 loss mark. They opened with Golden Valley and Bakersfield. They won that one 36-20. Then they went down to Kingsburg and were dealt a setback there 20-15 before last week taking on Kerman. And that was a thriller.
That was absolutely a thriller. 23-22 win by the Wildcats, but just squeaked it out. Quarterback Tanner Wilson threw 2 interceptions in that game, Dan, but they were able to still get the win.
Barnes will kick this one off. And a little squib kick fallen on at the 42-yard line. And that's Zanik Ortiz who falls on the football. And we're going to see Madera South on offense for the first time. They come in 0-3. They have scored 40 points on offense, but they have allowed 151. It's been a rough start for them. Lost to Orosi 56-33. Got off to a good first half start, but things changed in the second half. They went up to Merced to play Merced Golden Valley. Lost their 47-7, and then last week a rivalry game with Madera, and it was one-sided. Madera High victorious 48-0. Ahmed Sharhan under center, or in the backfield, and we've got a penalty.
I love it. You see that wing motion with a hard count. Well-coached team there. I love it.
And they were able to pull Sunnyside offsides.
Got to get Sharhan and Moreno going quickly here. I love to see Coach Johnson go no huddle.
So it's 1st and 5 from the Madera South 47-yard line. Man in motion is Caballero. And the run play up the middle picks up another yard or 2.
There you go. And there's Angel Moreno, one of the 12 seniors, Dan, that's on this Stallion team.
Shar had a good leader young player. And what has affected the three Madera high schools, the opening of Torres High School, the third high school in Madera, prompted administrators to remap the district. So a number of players that pick toss, and it is incomplete. Ortiz comes up saying that he was either held or shoved, but no call on the play. It's an incomplete pass, and now we're looking at 3rd down and 4.
Sunnyside corner Shamar Jones just played it right underneath. That's actually perfect coverage right there, played by Shamar Jones.
But a number of players Matt Johnson had in summer camps while they were in middle school, and players he was really looking forward to coaching with the remapping of the district up there in Madera. Those players ended up going to Torres High School, and of course Torres has gotten off to a really good start the last couple of seasons. Trying to get outside, get to that 1st down marker, very, very close. That's Moreno.
Moreno on the toss down. I love the play call by Coach Johnson, trying to get to the edge, trying to use his athletic Angel Moreno to get to the edge.
Very, very close. Looks like he's going to be just inches shy of a 1st down. That'll bring up 4th. And what would you expect of a USC guy?
But to go for it, right?
Student body right.
There you go.
They're going for it here on 4th down.
The receiver jump.
We've got a penalty. Did Mendoza jump or the defender jump? And it's false start on the offense.
Still 4th down.
So they go from 4th and 1 to about 4th and 6 now, and the punting unit likely going to come on.
And Dan, mistakes like that early, Dan, drive coaches absolutely crazy. The outside receiver, he's supposed to be looking at the ball. Dan, how do you jump, young man?
Short punt, well out of bounds. And it'll be marked at the 41-yard line, about the 40-yard line of Sunnyside, where the Wildcats will begin their 2nd possession. So a frustrating possession out of the gate for Madera South. An opportunity to be 4th and 1, and the penalty shoots them in the foot. They get marched back and have to punt the football away.
And in a game like this, the Stallions cannot have any mistakes like that. An opportunity to keep a drive going, and you jump off sides, negating that drive. Early penalties like that, again, drive coaches absolutely crazy. And the punt, you give Sunnyside excellent field position.
Wilson with company in the backfield this time. 3 receivers at the top of your screen. Pulls it back, overthrows. It's intercepted by Madera South, and he's got some running room across midfield, now to the 40. He's got wide open space down the far sideline, and he is going to be hauled down from behind at about the 25-yard line. That was number 11, Justin Caballero, with the big interception, and a turnover gives a great opportunity for Madera South as it puts the football at the 25-yard line of the Wildcats.
And that is a big turnover, Dan. Caballero, the young man who's a soccer star, is a stud at the club level in soccer, makes a phenomenal play.
As you see, he managed to get to the outside, and he had plenty of room, but you take a look at that Wildcat, and that was Barnes, I believe, coming from behind. Yes,
Malachi Barnes.
Hauling him down from behind. And Madera South now with 1st and 10 from the Sunnyside 20. Up the gut, and he's got plenty of room. He fumbles it at the 5, picks it back up into the end zone for a touchdown. Angel Moreno. Almost a disaster, but he managed to get a good hop, pick it up, and continue his momentum into the end zone for the touchdown.
Dan, it almost looked as if the young man was dribbling a basketball into the end zone. He was able to get the ball and still score.
Here's another look at it as he goes right up the gut, has the football stripped from him, but gets a favorable bounce. And into the end zone he goes for the touchdown. Extra point is good. And it's an 8-7 ball game. Madera South is on the board after the big interception and the terrific touchdown run by Moreno.
Overthrow by Wilson, Dan. We talked earlier about the young man's accuracy sometimes, and there you see it right there. Overthrew a wide open guy running up the seam. Great play by Justin Caballero to an excellent return, giving his team an excellent field position, Dan.
He knew exactly. He had good field vision.
That's
knew
right.
Where to go. Made the right cuts and had wide open running room. And if Malachi Barnes had not hauled him down, he might have been the guy that put it in the end zone. But the offense got the job done. Right up the gut. And we've got an interesting ball game. It's 8-7 here with 6 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the first quarter from Sunnyside Stadium.
And Dan, I know it's really early, but could these Wildcats be looking past these Stallions?
You gotta wonder. You gotta wonder. When they met last year, last year I believe Sunnyside won in pretty big fashion. Thought I had that score at my fingertips, and I don't. Should mention Chuck Calvert is our referee tonight, the white hat official. John Maynard, Scott Ehrman, Aaron Locke, and Eric Jones, the officials tonight. And the kick is down.
For the pooch kick.
Yeah, at about the 34-yard line, where the Sunnyside High Wildcats will begin their third possession of the night. Sunnyside on top here, 8-7. But boy, Madera South has made this one very exciting.
And I love the call of the pooch, Dan, trying to keep the ball away from the dangerous return men for the Sunnyside Wildcats. That's a great, excellent coaching move.
We see it a lot, particularly in this area.
That's
A lot of schools doing that. Lieutenant Wilson will have Pacheco in the backfield with him as the officials get things set, waiting for the go-ahead. And the Wildcats get it. Wilson clapping the signals, looks for a receiver. Quick toss, complete to Barnes, tripped up, gets across the 45 to about the 46-yard line.
And there you see the quick stride on a quick slant right there, Dan, just trying to get your playmakers in space. Excellent catch by the young man.
One of the things I've always wondered is a quarterback clapping signals. Is that difficult to hear?
No,
okay.
not at all.
Wilson has a little bit of pressure, flushed from the pocket. Just before going over the line of scrimmage, gets the pass off. C.J. Jones is wearing number 9 tonight.
Okay.
Makes that grab, and it's a big first down for the Wildcats down to the Madera South 41-yard line.
And Dan, that's Jones' first catch of the night. The Fresno B top 10 player to watch. The young man has 2 offers, one from Colorado State, one from San Jose State. You think they have to get him going.
He is a playmaker. You throw it in his area, those hands are going to bring it down. Very impressive young receiver. Only a junior. Wilson going up top. He's got an open receiver, and it's dropped. Ball dropped at the 10-yard line.
Back-to-back plays and empty, no huddle, Dan, okay? The sense of urgency here, I don't see why. It almost looks like they're panicking right away, right? They come out and empty 3 straight plays in a row. You think it'd be a little bit more dink and dunk, go back to the screen game, back to the run game.
And that worked well for them in their earlier possession.
It did.
Three receivers at the top of the screen, and they're going to run the football at this point. And they're going to get some big yardage, maybe about a yard shy of the first down. That was Pacheco.
That's a hard run by Pacheco. I love how he finished that. Sign of a great back is always keeping your legs turning, Dan, and falling forward. I love that run by that young man.
Brings up a 3rd and 1 now. And you would think they'd go right back to it.
That's right.
Wilson keeps it himself. He's got the first down, almost snagged in the backfield, but he was able to get away. And a big first down for Sunnyside High.
Big first down, Dan. That defensive end crashed. He pulled it. He made the right read.
Ball spotted at the Madera South 24. 8-7 Sunnyside. Wilson looking to throw. We've got a penalty flag, likely a hold. Wide open, all alone in the end zone, but will a touchdown stand? Do we await the call?
Hold.
Holding the call, and that'll be marched back. Instead of first and 10, we're looking at first and 15 for Sunnyside.
That's right. Yeah, and that is the same route that we saw pre-game. That you're going to see that switch route again.
So the ball at the 34-yard line of Madera South. Sunnyside, empty backfield. Wilson looks to his left, now forced to run to his right. He's airing it out for the end zone. He's got a couple of receivers. Is it caught back there? It is. Touchdown. Tyron Cree with his second touchdown grab of the night.
And you see Wilson's here, his ability to extend the play and just trust his receiver. Just say, hey, I'm going to throw it up. You're going to high point the football, and I trust you.
So Tyron Cree with his second touchdown of the night at the 4-minute and 44-second mark of the first quarter. Wilson's second TD toss. They're going to go for two. They often do. And they run it right in easily, almost practically untouched there, as Jones gets into the end zone for the two-point conversion, and it's a 16-7 ball game.
And Dan, Wilson has a number of weapons on this football team that extends way past C.J. Jones. I'm seeing this early tonight. He's spreading that football around and trusting his receivers to make plays for him.
He has plenty of playmakers to take advantage of on this team. It is a very talented team, and it is a team largely of underclass players.
That's right.
A lot of talented juniors and sophomores.
No, the future's bright.
And these players have largely played together for the last 2 years.
That's right.
So a 16-7 score from Sunnyside Stadium. Glad you're with us here on CMAC. And tonight, one of the great features of CMAC, the Sunnyside High Video Production Academy. Involved in much of this production, running cameras and handling some of the tasks. And this is Katie McEwen's class. 9 of her students are involved here tonight, and actually some of her students who have graduated work now for CMAC and are directing and handling responsibilities in the truck. Tremendous programs. We'll be talking about it throughout the night here, but CMAC a great resource and a great asset in the community. And the pooch kick, and did that touch the first man to become a live ball? Well, it went 10 yards to become a live ball. Who's got it?
Sunnyside recovered.
Indeed, Sunnyside recovers once again. So a huge break for the Wildcats and a huge blow for Madera South.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Sunnyside will come back out on offense.
And they will start their 4th drive of the night from the Madera South 46-yard line. I would say 46.5 yards, but I'd hear nothing but grief from Fred Clark on that, who would point out to me that there is no half-yard line on the field. Fred on vacation tonight. He'll be back with us next week. And Sunnyside up 16-7, about to begin possession number 4. Wilson looking to go up top,
again.
And
open.
He's got a receiver wide open, and it's a touchdown. 46-yard touchdown toss. We've got a celebration penalty, or do we? That may have just been the football that got tossed, not a penalty flag.
And Dan, you have an opportunity to see the young man's arm right there, 47-yard toss. I love how he put so much air underneath the football. He allowed his receiver to run underneath the football. Again, that trips right formation is giving Coach Johnson a headache. That's the second blown coverage from that formation. Again, they have to get it fixed over there.
Well, one of the nice things about for an offensive unit getting air under the football that way is it is very difficult for the secondary to pick that football up.
Definitely. You just throw it up there and allow your guys to go make a play.
And again, they'll go for two, as they generally do. But unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, which I believe will be assessed on the kickoff. Called against Sunnyside, and a swinging gate once again. Wilson scrambling. Evades one tackler. And there you go. And you've got tall receivers.
Flag on a play. That's got to be holding.
You've got a holding penalty.
Oh, yeah.
So it comes back because of the holding call.
And Dan, Wilson's ability, we talked about it again, Wilson's ability to extend plays is a nightmare for any defense.
Absolutely.
Right? You cannot ask your DBs to cover that long.
But one of the things that has worked against him that way 3 times tonight is you can't ask offensive linemen to sustain their blocks that long, and holding often happens, as we have just seen.
That is correct.
So yeah, but what he does is tremendous, and he's got those tall receivers, and he's taking advantage of them tonight. These guys have been going up and getting it, or he has been getting a lot of air under the football to where the defenders can't see it, and the timing is just perfect. Now that could easily have been a hold right there.
Yes.
Knocked down, so the 2-point fails, and it remains 22-7 Sunnyside. Well, this will be a very important possession for Madera South. Try and get the defense off the field, try and build some confidence with the offense, run some time off the clock, and most importantly, see if they can get some more points on the board.
And if you're Coach Johnson, Dan, you got to go back to what was working, right?
Yeah.
Here we go, that toss play, get Moreno out on the edge with Sharhan. You got to go back to those two guys.
Curious whether there has been any change of personnel up front. What with Sunnyside squibbing the last couple of kickoffs. And Madera South twice tonight has failed to field the kickoffs. And the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty again marched off on the kickoff. So Sunnyside will be kicking off from their own 25-yard line.
That's right. And you see Coach Johnson and his staff has already made the adjustment up front, pushing that front line up, adding an additional player right there.
So if they do squib it again, and this time Madera South able to handle it, they would have some pretty impressive field position. Malachi Barnes to kick it off, and once again, and it's out of bounds, and we've got a penalty on that one.
And that's going to be excellent field position.
It will be.
Madera South.
So 22-7 our score, Sunnyside over Madera South. And it's been a little while since we have seen the Madera South offense out on the field.
It has been a while here. You got to think they're going to go back to Moreno and Sharham, Dan.
Certainly you've got some two-way players out there on that Madera South offensive unit, but it looks like we have a penalty that's going to be marched off. No, I don't think so.
First and 10 for the Stallions on the Sunnyside 43-yard line.
So Madera South with the football at the Sunnyside 43-yard line, trailing 22-7. It goes to Moreno right up the middle.
There you go.
Picks up a couple.
And I like that run. I like that play call, Dan. Right up the middle to the heart of that defense right there. I love the power football.
Dan Taylor, Paris Gaines with you on CMAC tonight. The opener of the North Yosemite League season. Sunnyside High, the defending champions. Madera South at 0-3, battling for their first win of the season. Very, very young Madera South team this year. On the give, trying to get around the edge. And he is tripped up for a loss of about a yard or two. That was Justin Caballero.
I love Caballero with the ball on the jet sweep. A lot of coaches run that jet sweep, Dan, to the short side of the field. I love it to the wide side of the field, but you know, you got to get blocking out on the edge. You got to have that receiver out there blocking.
When you come to a wide side, does it give the defense an ability to close, more of an ability to close, or is it more difficult for the defense to defend?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Okay.
I like to give my best player space with the football, Dan. Wrap draw.
Back to the line of scrimmage. And that's the end of the first quarter here from Sunnyside Stadium. And our score after one quarter of play, it is Sunnyside 22, Madera South 7. Correction. Well, they were waving it off as we've still got plenty of time left. What am I talking about here? They were grabbing the football and waving their arms. Of course, I'm easily confused.
That's okay, Dan. I thought the same thing. It's okay. It's okay.
So it's a 3rd down and 10 for the Stallions.
Previous play, Dan, you see Coach Johnson calling the wrap draw there, trying to catch an over-aggressive defense. Love the call.
So Madera South takes a timeout. A little confused there as to why there was the delay going on, but now we've got a timeout called. So explain the wrap draw and what you like about it and what the objective is.
You know what? The wrap draw is to catch an over-aggressive defense with the delayed draw. I haven't seen it in a while at this level, but I love the play call from Coach Johnson. He's mixing it up. We've seen toss, we've seen draw, we've seen so many different things. I'd love to see the urgency pick up a little bit more, though. Maybe Coach Johnson and his offense going to a no huddle, right? Getting out there, and we've seen nothing but run plays the last couple of plays. I love it. They're running right at that Sunnyside defense, Dan.
Well, the key also run some time off the clock, but
That's
you've
right.
got a defensive breather on the sideline.
There you go.
But make that Sunnyside defense work and pull them in to defend the run before ultimately you try to go to the air.
There you go. And keeping the ball out of the hands of this prolific offense.
Back we go here, and looking at 3rd. Well, they're going to punt this football away. The scoreboard must have been wrong there, and it was indeed 4th down. And looking at the marker across the way, it was in fact 4th down. So the punt down at about the 9-yard line. And a frustrating series there for Madera South.
With great field position. Again, you know, Coach Johnson's got to be just furious with his team right now with the opportunities that they have had, Dan, with the football, with great field position. Just unable to extend that drive.
And Madera South already on top, or Sunnyside already on top of Madera South, 22-7. And on the field once again, that prolific offense. But this time starting their drive from their own 9-yard line. Tanner Wilson looking to throw the football. Quick out to C.J. Jones. Tripped up. Good ankle tackle there.
That is a great ankle tackle. C.J. Jones, you know, one of those young men that can make you miss in a phone booth right there. You know, taller kid, 6'2", 180 pounds. That is just a beast at the high school level. There you see him easily breaking a tackle, Dan.
Very good multi-sport athlete.
That's right, basketball.
Very good basketball player. Low snap, Wilson gets rid of it quickly. Out to Jones. And he's got room to run. He's got blockers, but he's hauled down from behind. And that's Vincent Gutierrez. And Vincent Gutierrez, a terrific talent for Madera South. He's playing middle linebacker tonight for the first time. He has been more of a defensive end, also an offensive lineman, a 4.0 student, and one of the things you don't see often in either a linebacker or defensive lineman, he's the anchor man on their 4x100 relay team for Madera South's track team.
That is absolutely incredible. The Swiss Army knife for the Madera South Stallions, Dan.
That's a good analogy. Wilson rolling left, throws, it's complete. So I can pick up maybe of about 7 or 8.
I'll try to pick up about 8 just on the quick hitch. The Stallion defense right now, they just don't want to get beat deep. Those corners are playing off. It's going to be hitches all day.
Burton, the receiver. So we're looking now at about a 2nd and 1 or 2.
Injury timeout.
Now, I've always thought that a quarterback rolling to his weak side and throwing back across the green's a little difficult throw, but you say not, or maybe not for this quarterback.
Maybe not for this guy. I mean, we see it all the time. I've had an opportunity to watch this young man on film, Dan. He does a lot of different things, orthodox, not. I mean, he can make some throws. He misses sometimes, and, you know, what he does really well, again, his improvisation, but yes, I get what you're saying. Him rolling and throwing across the body, it works for this young man in this offense, Dan.
For most quarterbacks, that's a very difficult
throw. That's a very
You're
difficult throw to make, but this young man, he's just used to it.
Yeah. Comes from a terrific football family. Of course, his dad, technically the co-head coach with Gordon Wood. Gordon been there a long, long time. Former Helix High in San Diego head coach. But they have to designate one of the two for meetings or other reasons to be the head coach, and that is Tom Wilson. But Tanner, the third of the Wilson boys to play football. He has 2 older brothers that played college football. Travis, a linebacker at Chadron State in Colorado, and Tommy, a quarterback at Northern Montana. And Sunnyside picking up a first down.
There you go, right up the middle with the back. Picking up the first down right there. Young man comes from a football family. Wow, that's incredible, Dan.
Quite a San Diego influence tonight. Of course, Gordon Wood having coached at Helix, and across the way, Matt Johnson having played at Chula Vista, and seated to my right up here in the booth, former star at Vista High School down in the San Diego area, Paris Gaines. Oh, a strip attempt there. Not good, but not successful, I should say. But, boy, Malachi Barnes able to get that ball down to about the 12, 13-yard line.
And Dan, Malachi's having a heck of a night so far, Dan. Again, getting your playmakers the ball in space and allowing them to do great things. And you see, again, Malachi on that quick screen right there, just getting upfield, picking up yards.
So a big first down now for Sunnyside. They're inside the red zone at about the 11-yard line. Wilson with company in the backfield now. 3 receivers, top of the screen. He's looking for one of them. Flushed from the pocket, rolling right, lobs it, a leap, and C.J. Jones holds it in. It's a touchdown. Wow.
You know, when in doubt, just throw it to your 6'2" receiver, right, Dan? That seems to be the recipe tonight. We talk about Wilson's ability to extend plays. He gets out of the pocket again and he throws it up to one of his many receivers that he trusts, Dan. It's like going up for C.J. Jones. It's like getting a rebound, Dan. That looked extremely easy for that young man.
Just lobbed it.
That's right.
And he was there. I'm sure they've worked on it thousands of times in practice.
Thousands of times.
So once again, they're going to go for 2. And he is brought down short. And the 2-point attempt fails. So now we are through with the first quarter. And it's a 28-7 Sunnyside lead over Madera South. We're seeing a little bit of everything from this Sunnyside offense tonight.
Right, we are mixing it up. The quick game, intermediate game, long game. Dan, you're seeing everything. They're opening up the playbook right now. You see C.J. Jones making plays, Barnes making plays. He has a plethora of receivers to throw the ball to. Again, I had an opportunity to talk to Zeb White before the game, and he said we're about to air it out, and he meant that exactly, and that's what we're witnessing tonight.
Exactly. Madera South, we saw some good things their first possession, but they have been struggling, mistakes,
right,
penalties ever since, and just
right,
not able to get things going.
Just completely unable to sustain a successful drive. There's always seems to be something going on, whether it's a holding call, Dan, or just something happens that just ruins the drive. So I think for Coach Johnson's team, it's poised. Just let's settle down. Let's try to get something going. Let's put one in the end zone and let's. Yeah, you got a puncher's chance. You got a puncher's chance, Dan.
Absolutely.
I think they do.
Absolutely. So Sunnyside ends the first quarter with a 28-7 advantage over Madera South. Sunnyside, of course, came in 2-1. They are the defending NYL champions. They ran the table in the NYL last year, made it to their division final in the playoffs with 3 wins before falling in the championship game. And you talk to coaches and they say this team is loaded with talent and likely they could win all 4 rounds in the playoffs this year if everything goes their way.
And Dan, anytime you have a 4,000-yard passer and prolific receivers, you got a shot, okay? And this Sunnyside team definitely has a shot.
And once again, it's an onside kick. And Sunnyside manages to recover the football.
Recovered by Sunnyside. First down and 10. From the 0.7-yard line.
They've got to make an adjustment, Dan.
Absolutely.
They've got to make an adjustment.
Absolutely. So Sunnyside up 28-7. Execute the onside kick. And Malachi Barnes, who kicked it, able to follow the football 10 yards and land on it. And they start from the Madera South 47-yard line. Ball's on the ground.
On the turf.
Muffed handoff. We've got a penalty flag thrown. Was there a hold and an attempt to prevent a Madera South defender from recovering the football? I don't know if that's the penalty. We'll find out.
Oh, and this Stallion defense really needed to recover that.
They did. Penalty assessed to Sunnyside. And this will be marched back to the 43-yard line. So it remains first down.
Trips right.
Wilson to his right, throws, has his receiver bottled up at about the 48, 49-yard line.
And there you see Wilson to get down on that half roll. Easy pitch and catch to the receiver, Dan. They can run hitches all day. This Stallion defense does not want to get beat deep again.
Second down. Looks like about 6 yards to go for the Wildcats. Wilson rolling. Tosses it. Was he at the line of scrimmage? It was pretty close.
That was really close. You know, rolling your right-handed quarterback out to the left, that's what we're talking about. Flag's being waved off, Dan.
They are waving the penalty off. But I have to wonder if it was initially thrown with the question of where Tanner Wilson was when he released the football.
He waved it off. All right.
Nose of the football at the 50-yard line.
Empty set.
Wilson firing. Complete. And that's going to be a touchdown. Ethan Ross on the receiving end. A 50-yard touchdown play, and they make it look easy.
They make it look extremely easy, Dan. I'm almost speechless. They ran a comeback. Quarterback threw a dime right over the head of the defender and just outraced the rest of the Stallion defense for the touchdown.
34-7 our score. Just a couple of minutes into the second quarter here from Sunnyside Stadium. And once again, the Wildcats going for two. They are not successful. And the score remains 34-7.
We talk about this offense. Again on display, Dan. Wilson, young man who's a 4,000-yard passer. Wilson completed 32 of 41 passing attempts for 452 yards and 5 touchdowns in a game a few years ago. So we know this young man can wing it around the field.
Absolutely.
And it's on display tonight, Dan.
So the kickoffs tonight have all either been pooch kicks or the last few onside kicks.
The entire Stallion return team is up, getting ready for what could be another onside kick.
The question gives, with a 4-touchdown lead, at what point do you continue to onside kick the football?
Correct.
Tanner Wilson looks like he will be the kicker this time rather than Malachi Barnes. Barnes is the guy who has onside kicked it the last 2 times.
Back to return for the Stallions, number 6, McFarland. Tanner Wilson kicking off for the Wildcats.
Pooch kick. Out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
Football out of bounds.
Dan Taylor, Paris Gaines with you from Sunnyside Stadium, where the host Sunnyside Wildcats are they're lighting up this scoreboard.
Yes, they are.
34-7, second quarter, 10:36 to play here in the second quarter. In the North Yosemite League opener, 4th game of the season for both of these teams. Glad you're with us here on CMAC tonight. Madera South looking for their first win of the season. They are an extremely young program, starting a couple of true freshmen.
That's right.
Just 14 years old, number of sophomores, like 7 sophomores.
Correct.
And conversely, Sunnyside High, very young too. A lot of juniors and sophomores. But these juniors have been playing together for 3 years.
No, I love this play.
Quick out, and he's got room to run. Across midfield before he's hauled down.
Excellent blocking by his receiver. Get the ball out to your playmaker in space. I love the call, Dan.
Sincere McFarland on the receiving end. And Madera South pushes it across midfield to the Sunnyside 49-yard line. Give to the back, and he is not going to get anything. Actually, he might have lost a yard. I believe that was Bolton.
A little misdirection did not fool the Wildcats at all, Dan.
So if you hold your lanes, hold your position.
There you go. There you go. I think the key word is discipline. Right? You be disciplined up front right there. You read your keys.
Big second down play. Trying to get to the corner. That was Caballero, and brought down for yet another loss. Did he slow up, stutter step a little bit too soon?
You know, eventually, young man, you got to plant your foot and go vertical, right?
Yeah.
You can't keep stretching it to the sideline, Dan. The sideline is another man. That's just a sign of a young player, Dan. You got to put your foot in the ground, young fella, and go vertical.
Substitutions for the Stallions. Third down at about 15 yards to go for Madera South. So a drive that started in promising fashion. Pass incomplete. far wide of the receiver, the intended receiver, Joshua Estrada, and that brings up 4th down.
Yeah, they got to bring the punt team out.
So the series that started with some promise gets stuck with 3 plays for loss.
Right.
And leaves Madera South with no option but to punt the football away.
You got to think, at this point, with the score being 34-7, Dan, I mean, he talked about this moment being too big for the players, playing on television, having an opportunity. But they got to go. They have to continue to fight. They have to continue to grind it out and find some consistency within themselves, right? I had a coach tell me, Dan, that players play and coaches coach, right? These young guys tonight have to continue to fight despite what the score is, Dan,
right,
and get something going.
Find some positives
That's
to
right.
take into their next game.
That's right.
And just continue to build, because they're
There
going
you
to
go.
have games further down the road where they are going to be in a more competitive situation.
That's right. And then as we take a look at the rest of the North Yosemite League schedule, I mean, we're looking at McLean at 2-1. We're looking at Sunnyside here 2-1, Roosevelt 2-1, and then we have Torres, Hoover, and Sanger West 1-2, right? So it's not the strongest we've seen in the North Yosemite League, right? So you have to think that the Wildcats are the best team in the league right now. And, I mean, are they trying to send a message to the rest of the league right now?
I think it's beyond the league.
Okay.
I think it's probably through the division.
I agree with you.
I think so.
I agree with you.
The sounds you are hearing tonight, it is region night, as many of the feeder schools, their cheerleading squads are here, their youth football squads are here. So a lot of enthusiasm and great spirit here at Sunnyside Stadium tonight. Punt is away and well over the heads of the Sunnyside returners, who make no effort to field it, and the ball rolls dead at about the 17-yard line of the Wildcats. I think the message is something they're sending out to the rest of the division, that this is a team to reckon with beyond the North Yosemite League title. But once we get into the end of October and the beginning of November and it's playoff time, watch out for the Sunnyside High Wildcats.
Definitely, and the message is going to be heard loud and clear tonight. They're putting on just a passing display tonight, Dan.
And it is a teaching season for the Madera South coaching staff with so many young players. I don't say that as making excuses. I'm explaining there are coaches who are implementing strategy, and there are coaches who are instructing players that are in varsity football for the very first time and are going to make mistakes. Ball kept on the ground, pickup of about a yard for the Wildcats.
Coach Johnson talked about how he's so proud of these young men that show up every day and they work extremely hard. We're not going to see this Stallion team quit no matter what the score is, but we talk about the age. We talk about number 2, the young man Corday, 5'5" freshman, Dan, starting at the varsity level.
Is that safety? Keeping the ball on the ground. And that's Corday McDonald, who came up from his safety spot, lunged at the ankles, and was able to help bring that ball carrier down.
On cue.
Yeah, it was as if he knew you were talking about it.
I'm a fan. Anytime you see a young freshman start, I love that.
But to your point earlier, we have seen programs that have really struggled.
Right.
And halfway through the season, players just don't show up
That's
anymore.
right.
And the numbers dwindle and things get even worse. And I think that's one of the things Matt Johnson's pleased with, is the buy-in and the enthusiasm is still there. Well, an illegal motion penalty, that'll cost Sunnyside 5 yards.
And I love the way Coach Johnson has changed the culture over there, right? It's so much more than just football over there. These young men have bought in. Again, they show up. He preached how proud he was of these young men. And I love that. I love that. I love when coaches preach it's more than just football. You're changing the lives of these young men, regardless of what the scoreboard is, Dan.
Absolutely. Wilson keeps the football. He's got the first down and plenty more across the 40. Now he's at midfield and he's run out.
Another first down by the Wildcats, and that's what I saw on film, right? Not only can he extend the play with his feet, but he's deceptively fast, right? He's not a 4-4 guy. You know, he's not a burner, but he can use his feet, deceptively quick. Gets out of the pocket well, switch the ball.
Rolls to his right, looking for a receiver. Fires deep downfield, and is it intercepted? No, it was incomplete. It was on the ground.
There you go, bounced off the turf right there, but half roll again. I love to see Wilson carry that ball a little bit higher, young man. He's really low when he's running that football.
Yeah, he's got that loaf of bread out there.
Loaf of bread out there, but again, just, you know, he trusts his receivers, Dan. Just throw it on out there and say, hey, I know you're gonna bail me out.
No, but he also trusts his offensive line.
That is very true. Had all the time in the world, he could have went to Subway and got a sandwich and came back, Dan.
We've got a timeout, an official's timeout, with 6:39 to go in the first half. Sunnyside High sitting on top 34-7 here from Sunnyside Stadium in Southeast Fresno. Glad you're with us. We've got an injury timeout, an injured Stallion back at about the 35-yard line, being tended to by the training staff. But to your comment, the North Yosemite League this year, we saw McLean make strides last year.
Right.
They had a bit of a young roster. It'll be interesting to see the progress they make. A couple of other programs, Fresno, Hoover, trying to rebuild.
Roosevelt, 2-1.
Exactly.
Roosevelt's 2-1.
Right.
You know, Torres is 1-2, but you know they're kind of in the middle of the pack there, Dan.
I saw Torres in their second game when they had Kerman. Very impressive. Jose Soriano, their quarterback, very impressive talent. We will see them, I believe, a little later on this season. Of course, our coverage of North Yosemite League football here on CMAC will conclude with the annual Pig Game, the great rivalry game between the oldest rivals in Fresno.
That's right.
Roosevelt High and Fresno High.
Longest running rivalry this side of the Mississippi.
Oh, boy.
You gotta love it.
Growing up, my dad had stories. Had great stories.
And I'll tell you what, Dan, I coached in one game. I was very blessed enough to coach one season at Fresno High School and had the great pleasure of coaching in that game, and it's something special, Dan.
It really is.
Something special.
It means a lot to the alum, whether they go or not.
That's right.
But yeah, Dad used to talk about the efforts both schools would make to steal the pig. And don't worry, we're not talking about a live one, we're talking about a wood carving. Second down and 10 for Sunnyside from midfield at the 49-yard line of Madera South. Wilson stands in the pocket. Now on the run, he's near the first down. I believe he has the first down before being brought down. Nice ankle tackle.
Just so much time to do whatever he wants to do back there, just surveying the field. The O-line is doing a heck of a job up front for for the Stallions there. They have to get some pressure on Wilson. Have to get some pressure. Maybe a spy. You can't let the young man get outside, but you have to have a spy. Spy him with a linebacker.
Keeping it on the ground. Good block. Gets to the outside. Bouncing back. Yan Vang, the ball carrier for Sunnyside. And he's got another first down. The ball looks like it'll be spotted at the Madera South 25-yard line. And another first down for Sunnyside.
Vang just breaking tackles along the way as he's running off tackle. Another first down for the Sunnyside Wildcats. And now just taking their time, Dan. There's no rush for this offense.
Wilson fires, complete at the 20-yard line. Well, looks like they'll spot it at the 24, pick up of 6 yards. Clock inside of 5 minutes, now at 4:53 and counting.
And Dan, a pickup of another 5 yards, but it should have been 7 because the number 1 receiver, number 3, and that's Jones, was wide open on the post route.
Back in motion. Wilson throws to that back. What a catch Tremendous catch.
I didn't come up with it.
Did not come up with it. Okay. Looked like that reach back might have hauled it in, but my mistake.
Again, thrown across his body. Extremely dangerous. But number 7, Vang, almost coming up with a great catch.
3rd down and 3 for Sunnyside. Wildcats up 34-7. 4:30 to go in the first half. Wilson fires into the end zone. Touchdown.
Is that Barnes again with another?
Looks like it, but we've got a penalty flag on the play. Waiting on the call. Officials are going to meet and discuss this.
Red ball to the play for light conduct. Number 5, touchdown is good.
So it's another unsportsmanlike conduct penalty charged to Sunnyside. That'll get marched off from the spot of the kickoff.
Another flag down.
Illegal motion.
Illegal formation.
Illegal formation. So that will get marched off now on the extra point.
You think coach would elect a kick here?
They are, in fact. Good catch. So this will be Malachi Barnes to attempt the extra point. Kick is good. So the 25-yard TD toss and the extra point good. And our score here with 4:20 to go in the first half is 41-7 Sunnyside.
And Dan, for the Wildcats, who has not caught a pass tonight? I mean, we've seen, I think you might have a reception tonight, Dan, because I've seen just about, we have maybe 4 or 5 different Wildcats catch a pass tonight.
He has spread it out very well.
He spread it out extremely well tonight.
The JV players,
that's right. That's right. Dan, I think I might have a reception by the end of the night.
So 41-7 Sunnyside edge here. And their offense is just clicking on all cylinders. Very impressive.
Run game, pass game, short, intermediate, screen, everything. Everything is working tonight. The playbook is wide open for the Wildcats. Dan, on the other side, you know, Coach Johnson's got to be preaching, hey, we are going to keep fighting. We are not giving up, one possession at a time.
That's about all he can do.
That's right.
That's all he can do. So we have seen nothing but pooch kicks and onside kicks. And they blast this ball over the head of the return man all the way down to the 9-yard line. He's looking for some running room and doesn't have much at all. And he is thrown to the turf. Where will they spot this? Looks like about the 10-yard line.
That's right.
So Madera South's offense has had its struggles tonight.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. But again, you have to go back. I mean, Moreno, where has Moreno been? I know we haven't seen many offensive series from the Stallion offense, but you got to go back to Sharham and Moreno then. You got to go back to the bread and butter. You know, that toss was working.
Well, as you noted, they have tried to exploit some of the over-pursuit tendencies.
That's right.
But the Wildcats really hold their, up the gut.
There you
Big
go.
yardage. He was one tackler away from really being able to break that, and he's brought down at the 27-yard line.
Up the gut, Dan, right at the heart.
Picks up about 17 yards. That was very impressive.
And we talked about Moreno. That's Moreno with the ball again.
Indeed.
Feed this young man, Coach.
Angel Moreno. He's been the big yard gainer tonight.
The senior.
Up the gut again and picks up about 2, it looks like. Looks like about 2nd down and 7.
Moreno averaging about 88 yards on the ground first 3 games, Dan.
Well, he's certainly a load, and he is a terrific weapon for the Stallions. Going to go to the air. He's got a receiver. He's got to step on the defender. Had to come back on it, and all he could do was knock it away.
That's right. That's a little too much air, Dan. A little too much air, underthrown. Now it's just jump ball between you and the defender. But I understand taking a shot. One-on-one, I understand.
Initially, that receiver had a step on the defender.
That's right.
But when the ball hangs up like that, good things aren't likely to happen.
No.
3rd down. 8 to go for Sunnyside, or for Madera South. Again, airing it out. And the pass is incomplete. Brings up a 4th down.
And I was almost intercepted, Dan.
You're right.
Almost
You're
intercepted.
right.
Defender just coming right underneath that. Again, just slightly, just underthrown again with a little too much air and just not enough velocity on that football, Dan.
Right. So the Stallions to punt it away. I believe that's C.J. Jones, the lone return man. And the Stallions are going to down the football at the 39-yard line.
They keep Wilson in the game. They let him get to the half here with just 2 minutes and 36 seconds until the half. I mean, at what point, as this game's getting a little out of hand, do you say, okay, we have to pull our starting quarterback out?
It's a good question. We're going to see. I would certainly think that there has to be a lead where you say it's pretty evident we're not going to see Madera South come back on us. And maybe it's a chance to get the backup some experience in the event of a potential injury.
There you go.
So Sunnyside will begin with the football at their own 39-yard line, leading 41-7 with 2 minutes and 36 seconds remaining in the first half.
Here we go with 3 receivers to the left. This formation has been giving that Stallion defense fits.
Keeping the ball on the ground, but their running game is very, very good, as we're seeing right there. And it looks like he's got about 9 yards on that carry.
So new running back in the game for the Stallions.
Couldn't tell if that was Barnes or no, I believe. Nope, not sure who that, don't have a number on that player.
Just taking their time.
And Madera South wants a timeout. So with 2 minutes and 6 seconds left here in the first half, And our score 41-7 Sunnyside. Madera South takes a quick timeout. Okay. So at this point, I would assume you're just going to run this clock out. 2 minutes to go and a huge lead like they have.
No, definitely. I mean, up by this amount, you think you're just going to play it safe, Dan, play it simple, run the ball, run the clock out, get your team back in, make some adjustments, just nothing wild, nothing crazy. You don't want anybody to get hurt before the half. Just go ahead, run the ball a few times, get into halftime.
Exactly. And for Madera South, you're just at a point where we want to see small victories.
That's right. That's right. No, you hit it right on the head. You want to see small victories. You want to see your team continue to fight some adversity tonight, but you don't want to see them give up, and that's what you want to keep preaching. Okay, we're going to take small steps. We're going to keep fighting, and we will not give up.
Almost treat it like a scrimmage at this point.
That's right.
Let's work on some plays. Let's see if we can get some things down against some of the strongest competition we're going to face this year. And if we can succeed against these guys, we'll have some success down the road.
You got to see some positives.
And the Wildcats with a first down on the play, keeping it on the ground. Across midfield, now down to the Madera South 45. Clock continues to run, 1:47.
Speaking of Wildcat, Dan, we have a new quarterback in the game.
Indeed, and he completes that pass.
And is that Vang at quarterback?
DJ Johnson, and I believe you're right, Paris. I believe that was. And it's a big first down. That is Wim Vang quarterbacking.
And no pun intended, but you have the Wildcats running the Wildcat right there with Vang at quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, and he's got plenty of running room. End zone in sight, cuts back, and he's got it for the touchdown. From 28 yards out. And unfortunately, that's the player whose number we don't have on our roster.
And I'm looking at the roster. I don't have.
Apologize to his family.
That's right.
Not able to sing his praises here, but a terrific run, 28 yards for the touchdown. With just 54 seconds left of the half.
Someone could just text me that young man's name.
Yeah.
Outstanding run. I love his burst. I love his acceleration on the outside. Dan hit the corner, turned on the jets, found the end zone.
Barnes just to attempt the PAT. Right through the uprights, and it's a 48-7 ball game. So you asked the question, and it was as if you were dialed into the coach's headsets there, because Tanner Wilson comes out, Vang goes in at quarterback, and still, even though they're keeping the football on the ground for the most part, their running game is very good.
You have to be looking toward next week or down the road here. You don't want to get Wilson dinged up. You don't want anything crazy to happen. 47-7. I'm not sure if Vang is the backup, but I mean, Coach Wilson, they have to have a backup, right?
Yeah.
Someone else that can come in and throw the football, or maybe Vang is that option to come in and run that Wildcat style offense right there. Get one of their better athletes, Vang, who's a running back also in space with the football.
Right.
Is not a bad idea also. It's not a bad idea also, but you have to think I'm sure there's a backup quarterback on the roster, someone that can throw the football.
Malachi Barnes, who has been executing onside kicks in the first half, is back into kick. Tanner Wilson had replaced him as the kicker. So are we going to see an onside kick, or he's just going to boot it away? Bouncing at the 9 and into the end zone for a touchback. So 54 seconds remaining here in the first half. Sunnyside with a 48-7 lead on Madera South. And as we talked, the objective of the Madera South coaching staff has got to be somewhat of a scrimmage-like mentality. Let's work on certain plays. Let's have success on a play here or there.
That's right, play by play, drive by drive.
Blast up the middle.
Now, Dan, in on the tackle was Wilson. The starting quarterback just made that tackle. And we understand at the high school level, you know, players go both ways, right? Your star quarterback might be your starting linebacker in this case. But again, when you're up by this many points, I mean, Coach Wilson, your quarterback is obviously one of the most important players on this football team. And he's out there playing defense, Dan.
Yeah, yeah. Give going up the middle. Play goes nowhere. Sure, that was Ortiz.
Good hard run by Ortiz.
And the horn goes. The clock hits 0. And that is the end of the first half here from Sunnyside Stadium. So a high-scoring affair as it began in a very interesting fashion.
That's right.
With Sunnyside taking advantage of the muffed opening kickoff and being able to score and get a 2-point conversion for an 8-0 lead. But to see Madera South come right back and run the football as well as they did and make it an 8-7 game right out of the gate made you wonder what might happen.
That's right. I mean, Wilson throwing the early interception, returned by Cabrero. You know, our eyes were wide open like, wow, could this be the night? Obviously, they woke up a sleeping beast, and this Sunnyside Wildcat offense just went bananas after that, Dan.
So it is a very wide open offense for Sunnyside. They have actually taken Tanner Wilson out of the game with about 5 minutes to play. Gone with Vang, the backup. Still able to score one more touchdown. But in the NYL opener, I think a statement has been made as to just who the team is that is the team to beat in the North Yosemite League this year.
That's right. Oh, loud and clear. They're making it very loud and clear tonight. As we talked about earlier, I think you and I might have a reception tonight. Wilson has found at least 5 different receivers tonight. So this passing game is on full display tonight, Dan.
All right, that's the story from Sunnyside Stadium. Dan Taylor, Paris Gaines with you tonight, calling the North Yosemite League opener here on CMAC, as we've got regional night here at Sunnyside Stadium. Cheerleading squads, youth football from all the feeder schools here in attendance, whipping up a lot of excitement and enthusiasm. And you see the Sunnyside band out on the field for halftime festivities. And we've got plenty in store here from CMAC to carry you through the halftime. We'll be back for much, much more action after this from CMAC.
Fresno is building newer, safer bike lanes across the city. These protected cycle tracks provide a physical barrier between the bike lane and motor vehicle traffic, creating a safer cycling zone. These cycle tracks will instill confidence in riders, yet everyone on the road is still required to obey all traffic laws. Cyclists should still ride responsibly and exercise caution when riding in the protected lanes. For motorists, this means that the roads you've been driving on may be changing. Be on the lookout for new parking, driveway, and intersection changes. For residents and tenants on these changing roads, be aware that mail, trash, and parking locations may move as well. Fresno is excited to provide diverse transportation options to our residents. Sharing the road is easy. Learn more at fresno.gov/BPAC.
What if I told you there was one word commonly used to dehumanize Native American women, and that Webster's dictionary defines this word as offensive and outdated? What if I told you an entire town was named after this word? That word is squaw. My name is Roman Raintree, and I'm a member of the Dunlap Band of Mono Indians and Choinumni people. My mother, Gina Charlie, is my inspiration for working to rename our community. When we use language that degrades and dehumanizes people, it sends the message that their lives are not worth protecting. According to the National Congress of American Indian Policy Research Center, nearly half of Native American women report having experienced sexual violence, and over 1/3 will be raped in their lifetimes. In California, cases of missing and murdered indigenous women are among the highest in the nation. Our towns and landmarks should be named after things and people we honor and celebrate. The routine use of an offensive slur is contrary to our shared values. Please join us and amplify our call to respect our community and end the use of this derogatory term for geographic naming. To learn more, visit the website below. Thank you.
One of the key goals of the project, Clean Shared Mobility Network, is to try and provide benefits to disadvantaged communities. In Fresno, that's Southwest, so that's our project area. We have a network of charging stations that we're installing throughout the disadvantaged communities. To date, so far, most of them have gone into Fresno Housing Authority sites, and we still are evaluating other sites, and we're getting recommendations and suggestions on where to site future charging stations. There's the car sharing. That program, it allows people, it's based on an app, and it allows people to basically rent a car for short periods of time. And those are typically people that don't even have a car. They're all electric, so that helps with the environment. The bike sharing works in a similar fashion where you have an app and you can rent the bikes. The battery here is swappable. It allows us to station the bikes anywhere. The bike, as well as all of the equipment, is GPS and geocoded, so we know where the bikes are at. We're going to stagger the deployment. We're not putting all 200 bikes out at once, especially in the beginning. Then we have an electric medical van that are ADA compliant, and so they can transport to medical facilities. It's a 5-year project. The step that we're at now is deploying the vehicles. We plan on doing that this fall. So once we've deployed the vehicles, then we go through a process of dynamic review. So we'll see where they're being used and not used so that we can relocate the vehicles where they're most efficient. What's really unique is how we've combined car sharing, bike sharing, van pool, all into one program. That's pretty much what's unique about our project.
Why did the chicken cross the road? I don't know either, but now they can cross in any direction at pedestrian scrambles. Pedestrian scrambles are intersections that allow pedestrians to cross in every direction, including diagonally. These intersections make this possible by having an exclusive pedestrian phase in the traffic lights. To use a scramble as a pedestrian, press the walk button when you arrive at an intersection and wait for the current green light cycle to complete. When the walk signal lights up, cross in any direction of the intersection. Drivers and cyclists should continue to focus on traffic signals and only proceed when the traffic lights are green. Sharing the road is easy. Learn more at fresno.gov/BPAC.
Hey there, I'm Mark Jackson.
And I'm BJ Yabisu. And we're from the Pie Shop.
No, not that kind of pie. A product incubator.
Whether you are a fledgling inventor or an existing company, the Pie Shop can help you incubate your business.
Tired of tinkering in your garage on your idea?
Make the Pie Shop your shop.
We offer mentorship, workshops, events, services, and dedicated and shared office spaces.
We have 8,000 square feet of shop space filled with 3D printers and other tools to help you develop your prototype.
And our partner, Blue Dolphin Engineering, a company that has 20 years of experience in prototypes and inventions, is right next door.
A nonprofit, we're located in downtown Fresno at 1755 Broadway Street at the Peerless Building.
The Pie Shop is open during normal business hours.
For more information, visit us at thepieshop.org.
Or give us a call at 559-481-5004.
What I love about CMAC is that they provide me with the knowledge,
the equipment, the space to express myself,
to amplify my voice,
to share my story.
My story.
My story. Go to cmac.tv/mystory to learn more.
In Southwest Fresno, it's just been this barren land forever, and trees are a representation that not only life is becoming involved into that particular area, but that there's a sense of care for people in that area. Now, the object itself may be small as a tree or as a small seed, but the symbolism of what it is, it's huge, because if you water that seed and if you water that tree, it grows into something that's huge.
All total, this project planted over 405 trees in Southwest Fresno, and it's just really made a lot of improvement in the area. This was part of the Southwest Urban Expansion Project as part of the TCC grant. You know, it was just specifically identified for this region that's underserved, some of the poorest air quality in the area. It really benefits the residents here, but it also benefits the businesses in the area. It benefits the air quality. So it's really a regional benefit, more so than just right here on this particular street. We're reconstructing the irrigation to modern irrigation systems that are drought tolerant. We're making sure that we're planting the correct tree in the correct place and the trees that are going to thrive in this environment.
All right, we're going to put a little dirt in.
It may seem small to others, but it's huge because of what it represents. It represents new beginning, a new beginning that one day will become a life change for so many people, especially in an area that's disenfranchised. There's transformation that's happening, and it's happening because of projects like this. So we're grateful for it. We can't wait to finally have some Kool-Aid under the shade.
You may have noticed new traffic signals on the road. These are pedestrian-activated signals, or HAWKs. These signals make it safer for pedestrians to cross busy streets. How are HAWKs different from conventional traffic signals? These are found in locations where children are likely to cross the street. Unlike green, yellow, red signals, the HAWK is only operational when activated by a pedestrian. When the lights are off, drivers may proceed with caution. When activated, the yellow light will flash, warning drivers to slow down. Then, the yellow light will turn solid, telling drivers to prepare to stop. The two solid red lights will tell drivers to stop completely for the pedestrians. Then the red lights will flash to let drivers know they can proceed with caution. The signal will then go dark until activated by the next pedestrian. When the walk symbol lights up and it is safe to do so, pedestrians can cross. Always look both ways before crossing. Sharing the road is easy. Learn more at fresno.gov/BPAC.
Hi everybody, this is Sarah.
And that's T, and we're Pedal Junkies.
And we're here to tell you all about Fresno County Bicycle Coalition.
The Fresno County Bicycle Coalition is an organization that promotes safe bicycling for everyday transportation and recreation in Fresno County. We do this by providing community events that promote safe cycling. We offer smart cycling classes, community rides, and bicycle advocacy all over the county of Fresno.
Want to know more about Fresno County Bicycle Coalition? Go to fresnobike.org and check it all out. See you in traffic.
You are what you litter. Coffee cups, cigarette butts, food wrappers, soda cans. Litterheads are a major problem. But we all have a choice. Don't be a litterhead. One vision, one mission, one Fresno.
Together, we can beautify Fresno. Find out how at beautifyfresno.org.
What I love about CMAC is that they provide me with the knowledge,
the equipment, the space to express myself,
to amplify my voice,
to share my story. My story.
My story. Go to cmac.tv/mystory to learn more.
A community garden, it brings so much more than we even envisioned that it would bring. This is Yosemite Village Community Garden and Urban Farm Incubator Program. This front part of the garden is the community garden. So there are spaces that community members can come out and check out for them to grow food for their own families. If they need coaching or they need help on what to plant in season or get access to seeds, we also help them do that. The other half of the property in the back, we have a farm incubator program where we work with farmers to give them a ½ acre of land so that they can start developing their own business plans. They can start farming and getting used to farming at a little bit larger scale. Our farmer Miguel has been working in farm work labor for over 10 years, and he had not had the opportunity to start his own business or to get the opportunity to manage his own operation. But he really has a passion for agriculture, and so that this is what he hopes to be doing full time.
You guys want to go for a walk?
We also go into the classrooms and teach in the classrooms, and then also bring kids from schools to the garden to learn here. We have volunteer days every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So if someone wants to start gardening and they don't feel like they know how to do it, or they're not comfortable with getting a garden space yet, but they want to learn, they can always come and join us during those times. Or if you're a future farmer looking for some space and some training and guidance, we have that program here too.
You may have noticed new symbols on the road. These are sharrows, or shared lane markings. They can be found in the through travel lane or the right turn lane. But what do they mean? Sharrows indicate a shared lane environment for bicycles and cars where a bike lane is not possible. For drivers, this means to be on the lookout for cyclists in the lane and to only pass cyclists in a safe manner for everyone on the road. For cyclists, this means you are allowed to ride in the full lane and should avoid the door zone of parked cars. For sharrows in the right turn lane, cyclists are allowed to continue.
Welcome back to Sunnyside Stadium in southeast Fresno, where our halftime score shows the host Sunnyside Wildcats on top of Madera South 48-7 as we ready for the start of the second half. It's a real treat for me, Dan Taylor, to be with the former Fresno State standout, Denver Broncos, New Orleans Saints running back, my friend Paris Gaines. And Paris, we've seen it all in the first half.
We've seen just about everything tonight, Dan. I mean, really quick, I can smell the popcorn and the processed cheese from the booth. But we've seen just about everything. This Sunnyside Wildcat team just put on an aerial display. 5 or 6 Wildcat receivers have touched the football. On the other half for the Stallions, they win in a half. It's about, look, we're not going to give up. We're going to fight. That scrimmage mentality, we're going to come out, we're going to execute one play at a time, Dan.
That's where we are. Sunnyside will be the receiving team here to begin the second half. That's enough to make the Madera South coaching staff cringe a little bit. They came in still looking for their first win of the season. And Sunnyside at 2-1, the defending North Yosemite League champs, and a collection of talent, very likely to be the NYL champs once again this year. Glad you're with us here on CMAC Community Media Access Collaborative. It's a nonprofit membership-based community media center dedicated to helping you create the media you want to create. We invite you to check them out on their website at cmac.tv and look into becoming a member, getting involved, learning how to produce your own videos and TV programs. It's a great place to learn the industry, learn how to use the equipment, and learn the ins and outs of the various tasks in the industry and prepare yourself for a career. cmac.tv/membership to check on memberships. And if you missed the first half and you want to see some of the action, you go to their website, look at sports, and you'll be able to see a replay of this game, and also it'll be posted to their YouTube channel as well. Our thanks to the Sunnyside Video Production Academy and their instructor, Katie McHugh, and 9 of her students working tonight on the crew, handling the camera work and getting some hands-on experience. Just as these players are improving out on the field, we've got students in the classroom getting hands-on work here with CMAC tonight, and we're delighted to be a part of that. So Madera South will be kicking off. Thought it was the other way around, but my mistake. It's our first telecast of the year.
That's
we're knocking
right.
10 months of rust off.
That's all right. We won't hold it against you.
At least we're going to stick to that excuse. And the ball is in the air, and Sunnyside goes right through the legs of the up man. That looks like C.J. Jones off to the races. He's out near the 45. Tries to get past the tackler.
Well, that's Vang with the football.
Vang with the football,
with
indeed.
an escort.
And that's, he is, and he is hauled down at the 24-yard line. Wow.
And unfortunately, there's a hurt Stallion on that return. Dan.
We indeed have an injured Madera South player at the 50-yard line. Trainer waiting. Matt Johnson out on the field hollering. Not sure if it's to an official or to his players. Teammates trying to summon an athletic trainer, and Sunnyside's comes out, as does the Madera South trainer now from the bench area. Looks like they've got 2 or 3 players sitting on the trainer's table already on the Madera South sideline. So tough way to begin the second half as Sunnyside, boy, Vang he has had an escort all the way down to the 24-yard line.
No, he did. Caught the ball on what was a squib and just reversed his field and cut right up the right sideline here and had an escort right up the right sideline. It's good running by Vang.
What would John Baxter be saying about holding your lanes?
Oh, man, I could repeat that in my sleep.
Big one for the Dogs tomorrow at Arizona State. Reading this afternoon that the Sun Devils are really depleted on the offensive line. 3 more injuries this week. And I think they're down to a backup starter at running back.
Correct.
So it should be an interesting one tomorrow night.
And when the Dogs are winning, Dan, it's great for this community. It's great for the Valley.
They have been the talk of the town the last 2 weeks. The first for the electrifying win over Purdue, and last week for the mystifying performance with Eastern Washington.
That's right. Very close.
But you know, that's a tough one because those players all week long, you have walked in those shoes all week long in your classes. You're hearing nothing about how great you did and how great you are.
Right.
And you've got Arizona State coming up in 2 weeks, another circle game. And FBS team coming in.
That's right.
In Eastern Washington. Then you go in thinking, well, we should be able to skate past these guys.
That's right.
It doesn't always work that way.
Well, many believe that was a trap game to begin with, and that the emotional letdown would take place, and then we saw that. You know, they went out there and we squeaked that win out in overtime. We have an opponent coming in, a Pac-12 opponent. It sounds weird even saying that. Is there going to be a Pac-12 next year? But anyway, a Pac-12 opponent coming in, and well, no, we're going to a Pac-12 opponent, but I believe we can win that football game, and I think many folks in this valley believe we can.
Oh, I agree.
We can win that football game.
Completely agree. Should be an exciting night, Saturday night for the Bulldogs down in Tempe. Now, if the weather would cooperate, could not be scorching. But hey, if there's any team that's going into Tempe prepared to play in the heat, it's Fresno State.
All right, Dan, it's going to be a cool day for us, Dan, down there. Okay, we're used to that. Everybody should be great.
There you go. Injured player being helped off the field. The officials have not signaled to start the clock just yet. Tanner Wilson back in the ballgame at quarterback with a 48-7 lead over Madera South. And the officials give the signal, and we're ready to play again. 1st and 10, low snap. Wilson's got C.J. Jones wide open at the 20. Tries to juke his way clear and gets pushed out of bounds at about the 10-yard line.
Jones working his magic on the hitch right there, just turning a 5-yard hitch into, 11, 12-yard gain. Starter still in for Sunnyside. Wilson.
And you wonder how long that will last.
Right. Wilson still in the gun with Vang offset.
Another low snap. Defender coming. Oh, and the lob pass is hauled in by C.J. Jones. Are there any penalty flags around? We don't see any, and it's a touchdown. So we're in the 50s now, just to start the third quarter of play. And Sunnyside going with the alley-oop in the back of the end zone, and it's 54-7.
And Dan, I'm almost positive that's exactly what the play is called, because It's just Wilson to Jones, just, hey, I'm going to throw it up and allow my 6'2" receiver to climb that ladder and go up and come down with the football. We've seen it time and time again tonight.
Sunnyside will kick the PAT. They have gone for 2 on several of the earlier touchdowns, and this one is no good. And we've got a penalty flag.
They're waving it off.
Looks like so. Looks like that's what they're doing. So our score 54-7 here early in the third quarter. Tanner Wilson with the lob to C.J. Jones.
That's his, what, third tonight? Is that his?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Right. Jones' third touchdown tonight. Three-star, 24/7 Sports has that young man rated as a 3-star prospect. Has 2 offers. C.J. Jones from Colorado State and San Jose State.
And only a junior.
And only a junior.
He is indeed a playmaker. Very impressive talent.
I love it. A guy that can go up there and just get that football like that. I love it. He plays with great control. You see a guy maybe 6'2", 6'3", you know, not able to sink his hips, but it looks like that young man, as he matures and develops, has all the tools to be a good one.
So Malachi Barnes set to kick it off. We have seen Barnes execute onside kicks and very successfully in the first half. Last time he just kicked it deep and angles it to the side. McDonald, the freshman, coming up with it. It's about 3 yards before his momentum takes him out of bounds. And that's where Madera South will begin their first possession of the second half.
Corday McDonald comes from great genes, I believe. That's what I was told.
That's right. Tim McDonald is Tim's brother Ben. I believe he's Ben's grandson. Of course, Tim's sons, TJ and Tevin, outstanding players, both collegiately and TJ at the NFL level. And they're certainly very excited at Madera South for the future of Corday McDonald, only a 14-year-old freshman starting on the varsity. And what, 5'5"?
That's right.
A keeper straight up the middle, and he's got big yardage. Tries to cut back, but picked up about 13 yards on the carry.
I love that on the zone read. Kept the football, Dan.
That was the quarterback, Sharhan. As you saw that cutback, lost his footing and went down, but picks up about 13 yards.
Yes, he did.
First down for Madera South, ball at the 43-yard line. Stallions hurry up to the line of scrimmage. Quarterback
option.
Moreno.
Wow, a little different look. That's a little different wrinkle.
Indeed.
A little different wrinkle.
But a very disciplined defense did not permit that ball to get turned upfield.
There you go. Very disciplined up front by the Wildcats right there. Just staying home, slow playing that, not being fooled at all by the option.
Second down and 10. We've seen such a variety of run calls, options, dives, just a little bit of everything. Sharhan. Oh, he's going to lose at least 6 yards on that play. Not sure what that was supposed to be.
Not sure. Looking in the area, Dan, there was not a receiver in sight for Sharhan to throw the ball to. But you have to love. Look at his defense, Dan. The Wildcat defense still swarming to the football. 5 or 6 hats around the ball, Dan. You got to love that.
It's a very aggressive defense, a very talented defense. Sharhan back into the huddle. Have to wait on McDonald to get off the field. A substitution there. Moreno busts the tackle, picks up about 3 yards, but they needed a lot more than that for the first down.
That's right. And again, I think Coach Johnson is just trying to see some consistency, right? We don't want to put the ball in the air too much. Let's work on some stuff at this point, guys, right? You talked about that scrimmage mentality, Dan. Let's just play by play. Quick power here, zone. Nothing too crazy. Let's keep it vanilla. Try to develop some confidence and a little bit of consistency.
So with 4th and 12, the Stallions have to punt the football away. Sunnyside not in what you would call a standard return formation. They're going to let this one bounce and roll out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. 54-7 our score here in the third quarter. And trying to keep some players apart. Obviously, things getting a little chirpy down there.
Right, a little frustration setting in for the Stallions right now. A little chirpy down there. Great reffing staff, keeping everything under control, keeping these young men safe.
And indeed, the officials gathering and comparing notes about what they're seeing happening out there on the field. We want to keep any frustrations or tempers at a minimum. So we have a personal foul charged to Sunnyside. And the penalty will be marched all the way to about the 41, I believe. Now they put the nose of the football to the 40-yard line. And that's 15 yards up from where the ball scooted out of bounds. And Sunnyside, with Tanner Wilson still in at quarterback, with a 47-point lead. Two receivers to either side. That's right. Give to the lone back. And he is just bouncing off tacklers across midfield.
Another Sunnyside first down, quick hitter. Back hits the hole extremely well, great pad level, just bouncing off Stallion defenders.
So the ball placed at midfield. First down for Sunnyside.
Substitution at running back.
And Wilson pulls it back, keeps it himself, and is across the Madera South 45, brought down at about the 43-yard line.
I know we keep talking about it, but again, he's still in the game. You know, you're running zone read, he's pulling it, he's taking hits. You know, do you want to get him this time to get him ready for the rest of the season, or do you want to get one of your best players out of the game right now, and it's all about longevity, right? His health.
Exactly. The last thing you want to have is some fluke tackle, fluke injury that costs you that young man for a week or two, and impacts what could very well be a run at a Valley Championship. And that's what people are saying. They've got the talent to go all the way this year. First down from the 39 or the 36-yard line. Stuffed in the backfield. Might have muscled his way. That's Vang. Looks like he was able to muscle his way across the 35. See where they spot the football.
Now, is that Vang? I thought we had a substitution at running back. That might be number 23, Chance Harris. I'm not sure, but I thought we had a substitution at running back.
They've been running some guys in and out.
They have.
We see Shamar Jones coming out. Wilson thrown for the end zone, and he's got his receiver wide open, and that's Malachi Barnes. Nobody within 5 yards of him. He ran right by the secondary.
Another Wildcat touchdown, Dan, just right up the middle, just right up the seam. The defense just not understanding that route or how to defend that route. That's the third time where we've seen Wildcats just running wide open, Dan.
No defender within probably 7 or 8 yards of him, as Barnes hauled that one in with ease. And it is a 60-7 game. And the PAT does not get but about 2 feet up off the ground, and it is no good.
That may have been a new kicker.
I think it is.
That may have been Wilson kicking that PAT.
I think you're right. I think that's who it was. So 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Clock continues to run there in the third quarter as Sunnyside is on top 60-7. Malachi Barnes to kick it off. And this time, Madera South going to put a return man deep.
Is that Sharhan back deep?
It is, the quarterback.
Quarterback back deep.
Ahmed Sharhan.
That's right. I believe that's number 2.
McDonald, the up man.
McDonald, the up man. Now
he's heading back to be the deep man on the near side.
Right.
Waiting on the officials to get things started. And finally, as you see, ball's up on the tee, and we're ready to kick it off. 60-7 our score here. Sunnyside over Madera South. 30 seconds left. They pooch kick it. And Flores with the fair catch at the 45-yard line.
Young man Flores fair caught that ball. Well coached right there.
Indeed. For special teams, anything that you enjoyed or you like to stay away from?
I was never a punt returner. That's the only thing, and I'm going to be honest on air for all the listeners. The punt return was not my favorite thing. Kickoff return, yes. I was never on a kickoff team. Punt block, I love that. I love coming off the edge and having an opportunity to take the ball right off that punter's foot, Dan.
Fun.
So a little yes and no, right, for special teams for me.
Some tasks fun, some tasks
there you go.
Thankless.
That's right.
Man in motion. They give to Moreno. Straight ahead for a couple.
And Moreno, Dan, still running hard.
And that's the end of the third quarter. So we are in the fourth quarter here at Sunnyside Stadium. And our score, the host Wildcats, up 60-7 over Madera South. Interesting to see what the two teams choose to do here in the fourth quarter in terms of personnel and strategy.
Right. It's fourth quarter right now, so we were talking about a switch, right? Possibly seeing a switch for the Wildcats, but we still see Wilson in the game right now slinging the football around. So we talked about longevity, right? You have to get this young man, get him ready, sustain him. We need him. And for the other side, it's just we're going to go out there, and it's the next play for the Stallions. We don't want to see any of these young men hurt at this point in the football game. But I love the fight. I love the fight of these young men from Madera South. They're still going. Moreno is still hitting the hold.
Indeed.
I love it.
Sharhan's looking upfield.
That's right.
Yeah, they're in there one play at a time and trying to improve because it's a long season. This is only game 3. They've got many, many more NYL contests coming up. And who knows? Who knows who will be the number 2 team in the NYL and have an opportunity to sneak into the postseason.
Right.
Madera South got in there last year. They did win a game, lost a game. And for the growth of the team, the confidence, the boost in enthusiasm and buy-in, that would be a huge accomplishment this year. Change at quarterback for Madera South. I believe that was Moreno. Or no, that was Flores handing the ball off.
Number 36 with the carry. That's Efren Garcia, number 36 for the Stallions with the carry.
Again, that is Octavio Jorge Flores. Calling the signals, normally a fullback. 36, Efren Garcia once again with the carry up the middle. Loss of about a yard to the Madera South 49. I believe that brings up a 4th down now. Well, it looks as though the Stallions are
going to stay out there.
Going to stay out and give it a go. Delgadillo, Alejandro Delgadillo coming in.
That's right. Why not, Coach Johnson? Let's go.
So it's 4th and about 6. And what do we got, a timeout?
Timeout by the Stallions.
Indeed, Madera South wants to talk it over, make sure everybody is on the same page.
That's right.
And the Sunnyside defense comes over, get their instructions. A 4th down play. Does that make everybody a little bit on edge, extra tense? What's the mindset in the huddle in a 4th down play?
Well, it's about field position right now. So if you don't get it, then they get the ball at the 50.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, that's where you say, okay, we can go for it. If we don't get it, then we give them the ball back at the 50 right now. The worst case scenario is you get a penalty, and I would hope Coach Johnson would punt it. But I've yet to see this young man tonight throw a pass. So, I mean, I'm a little bit surprised. I can't tell you, but
wouldn't that be interesting?
That would be extremely interesting. Okay, looks like they're in punt formation.
Yeah,
all right.
so we're not going to see the pass. Estrada drops back to punt the football. Tanner Wilson on the near sideline at about the 36-yard line, and not a helmet anywhere in sight. So his night may be done. We'll see. And the ball down to the 21-yard line of the Wildcats, and the offense comes on, and Tanner Wilson is on the bench. Sans helmet, and it looks as though his night might be done.
That's what it looks like. We'll see who they put in at quarterback. Vang was in the previous possessions running the Wildcat, so let's see who Sunnyside has at quarterback. I see number 7, Vang.
Indeed, he is heading back out there. And we're in a situation now with a 53-point lead for Sunnyside, where we've got a running clock, and it's at 9:43 here in the 4th quarter. Indeed, Vang gives the football to his fullback, who picks up about 4.
And there you go, slow and steady for this Sunnyside Wildcat team. Vang, and they're running the zone read, gives the football, 5-yard gain. He's definitely capable of seeing that end crash down and pulling that football and coming out the other side. I've seen this young man run. He's explosive in the open field with the football.
Vang throwing the football near side, complete to Shamar Jones, breaks the tackle, looking for a block, and he is wrestled down at the 44-yard line.
Samar Jones tonight, I believe that's his 2nd or 3rd catch tonight.
Juan Garcia wraps him up around the hips and wrestles him down. So a 1st down for the Wildcats. Football at the 43-yard line, their own 43. And they're going to just run the football and keep that clock going.
Go for the Stallions. Just hold on and rally, boys. Just hold on and rally.
Jason Dixon, the ball carrier, might have picked up a 1.5 yards.
Swallowed up by big Eduardo Herrera for the Stallions, number 77.
Stallions still flying to the football, playing aggressively on defense. Pulls it back. Bang, gets around the far side. Did I see a penalty flag gun flying? I'm not sure. He gets across the 50. Yes, there is a penalty flag back at the 46-yard line. Holding the preliminary call against Sunnyside. And again, we have an injured Madera South player down at their 48-yard line.
And this is what you don't want to see, Dan. You don't want to see this right here late in the game. Clock ticking. You don't want to see young men get hurt on either side of the football. But for the Stallions, you don't want to see this.
So holding the call, that'll put the football all the way back at the Sunnyside 35-yard line. 7:21 left in the game, and the clock continues to run.
Dan, we were talking earlier about the North Yosemite League, right? So you have McLean at 2-1. I'm not sure who they play tomorrow, but eventually McLean and Sunnyside will meet. Okay, I think that could be a good one.
I think so. Well, they have really put a lot of effort in the weight room and done a lot of work at McLean, improving that program the last couple of years. We will have their game with Madera South. We will also have the Madera South game with Fresno High a little later on in the season. But, yeah, I think that could be an interesting game, McLean and Sunnyside. McLean might be that team at Roosevelt.
Right, at 2-1 as well.
Yep.
There you go, Roosevelt. Averaging about 80 points in the first 3 games total, but they're also giving up 84, right? So, right.
But sometimes when you look at this stage of the season in statistics, it's important to go back and see who they have played, because there are some coaches that want to play really tough non-conference opponents.
That's true.
Because they feel that prepares them for the postseason.
And I totally agree with that concept. Totally agree.
So second down, ball snapped, fumbled, deflected, and it's incomplete. Clock continues to run at 5:47 in the fourth quarter.
Another low snap. You see the athletic Vang is able to control that ball and try to get that pass off.
Did a nice job.
Deflected by the Stallion. Number 4 for the Stallions, Joshua Estrada.
Dixon coming out. Need to get the ball to the Madera South 47-yard line for a first down. Bang. Quick out, overthrows a wide open receiver.
Overthrew the wide open back on the swing. We can see that Vang's strong point is running the football. The young man is dynamic and athletic. He just missed a wide open running back, just wide open.
Oh, and you know he's just kicking himself.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Brings up fourth down. Sunnyside likely to punt the football away. The offensive players taking their time getting off the field. 4:36. The clock continues to count down.
And Dan, I wanted to ask you, you have seen so much football in the Valley at the high school and the collegiate level. Where would you rank Tanner and Jones from a quarterback duo standpoint?
Wow, good question. There have been some good ones. There have been some very, very good ones.
Very good ones.
I would certainly say they're in the top 10, that's for sure.
Okay.
I go back to the Edison teams in the early 80s or late 70s where Tim McDonald was the quarterback and Ken Henry, who went to USC with him, was his receiver. And they were an outstanding quarterback-receiver duo. Yeah, there have been some very good ones. Kevin Sweeney had Pete Sartini at Bullard High. Nick Papagni had Rex Hudler at Bullard High. Oh, on a shovel pass there on a fourth down. Plenty of running room. Is he going to get? He's got the first down.
He's got the first
and then
down.
some. Now we've got a penalty flag. Oh, and that was Tanner Wilson back in at quarterback as the punter. So we await the call, but everybody is walking back beyond the original line of scrimmage, and it was a hold. Clock now at 3:12.
That's fourth and 18. No.
About 23, it looks
23,
like.
yes.
So I'll be curious to see if this time they punt or if they make another attempt at a first down.
Dan, I could not imagine they're going to go for another fake here.
Now, in San Diego growing up, what were some of the interest? I mean, there have been some very good quarterbacks that came out of there. Sean Salisbury and Matt Johnson were the closest of friends at USC, and I think they played against one another in high school.
That's right. Sean Salisbury, Orange Glen High School.
Ah, okay.
All right,
okay.
San Diego, North County. And it's great. And I played in North County. I played in North County. I played, Vista, Oceanside, Carlsbad.
Yeah.
Some tough teams in the North County. Poway, Mount Carmel. We played in a great conference, the Palomar League Conference. So many special players that come out of San Diego. It was great. Friday night, it was a battle every single night. But great quarterback play. Great skill position play. Man. Awesome place to play, Dan. Awesome place to grow up as well.
Well, high school football, nothing like it. It's an exciting way to spend your Thursdays and Fridays, and we invite you to get out and, of course, join us here on CMAC for the North Yosemite League action here over the next 6-7 weeks. But get out and catch a game. These young students do a great job on the field, and, of course, the bands, the cheerleading squads, the pep squads. A lot of excitement, lots of enthusiasm in these stadiums, and they certainly enjoy your support. So with now a minute 14 left on the clock and counting, might have time for a couple of plays here as Madera South running the football. Quarterback keeps it and goes down for a loss of about 2.
Quarterback keeper there. I thought he was going to hand that to the fullback. May have been a broken play.
Clock now at 55. I have one last play. So Sunnyside winning its opener in a big way. Madera South not only loses their NYL opener, but falls to 0-4 on the season.
Right.
Clock at 29 seconds. This will likely be the final play of the game.
It looks like they're going to take a knee.
And they are. They do. So Madera South takes a knee, and their players will line up for the post-game handshakes as the horn, we heard a horn, but there are still 9 seconds on the clock and counting. As the two teams head to their benches, and then at midfield, they will form handshake lines. As this one winds up, a big win for the Sunnyside High Wildcats. Final score of 60-7 over the Madera South Stallions. As the players all shake hands at midfield. We see the head coaches talking, and I'm going to get the binoculars on this because I think there's some words. There are words taking place. Yes, they are having to hold back the Sunnyside coach from Matt Johnson. They are holding back the Sunnyside head coach from words Matt Johnson is giving him after a 60-7 game. Dan Taylor, Paris Games from Sunnyside Stadium. Glad you have joined us tonight. Our final score 60-7 Sunnyside. And Paris, your thoughts?
Well,
where to begin, right?
Right. Well, the ensuing stuff after the game has to stem from some of the things we witnessed. The fake punt late in the game, going for 2. I understand the frustration. I don't condone the behavior, but I understand the frustration, Dan. Tonight we saw Goliath. They went out there, Sunnyside, they did exactly what they were supposed to do, right? They passed the football. They did it with ease, multiple formations. They opened up the playbook. That's what we saw from the Sunnyside Wildcats tonight. For Madera South tonight, it was about taking the blow and understanding. I think Coach Johnson understood his players tonight. There was an opportunity when you're down by this much, you learn a lot about your football team, right? You hope that no one gets injured, right? You want to be consistent, but you want to show fight, and that's exactly what they did. They fought to the very end. Unfortunately, what we're witnessing right now is unfortunate. That's what we're witnessing right now.
Down on the field, it is all verbal, nothing more than verbal, but there were some feelings shared out there, and the Sunnyside coaches were not happy with what they heard, but I'm guessing the Madera South coaches were not happy with what they took.
Correct.
And what they saw. And the officials now are going back to discuss things and head to their locker room as they are trying to get the two teams to their respective locker rooms. Our final score here, 60-7, Sunnyside over Madera South. And it has been a great treat to work with my friend Paris Gaines here.
Definitely.
Fred Clark will be back with us next week, and we hope you'll join us for more North Yosemite League football here on CMAC. You never know what's going to happen even after the final horn sounds. 60-7 our final score. Thanks everybody. Thanks to our crew from Sunnyside High and the great CMAC crew in the truck, Jeff Stamps and company. Great work tonight, and we look forward to working with you again next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight.